Hello everybody, I'm making this video here not to review this particular product that's out in front of me, but to kind of give a little bit of warning on those that may have this particular product and what I have discovered with it. So I'm going to jump off into it here. This is a wipe warmer. It's a Prince Lionheart wipes warmer model number 9002. And this will be come February, about the end of February, third week of February. This will be 3 years old. My wife brought this out to me yesterday and said that there's like a blue light that lights up here. She said the light wasn't lighting up and it didn't seem to be working, and asked me if I could take a look at it, and I said sure. So I took the contents out of it and took out, there's a little pad that you keep saturated, took it out and wiped out the interior of it, and as I moved it around, it was sloshing water inside, but there was no water in it. So I took it apart to investigate. Now the first thing I tried to do was pull the power cable out of the back, right there. And it was literally rusted inside of it. And when I finally got on it hard enough, I pulled the end out. Now I tested the power supply. It's still good. It's a 12-volt power supply. Then I went to open it up, and I turned it over onto my desk, and water started pouring out of it. There are two long screws that you would take out from here, one on each side, and then it has these foam feet that are on it. You have to take the back two off, and there's two screw holes. And then you can simply lift this cover off. Can you see all that remnants of rust right there? That was rusty water. The power supply connection sits right here in the unit. So the first thing that I noticed was the connection was literally rusted off of the connector here, the hot lead. And then that whole post in there is this is just solid rust. Next thing I noticed that the wires that run along the bottom, there's a styrofoam shell on the inside to help retain the heat and all that. Take that out of the way. They're actually melted down into the foam. This one here is a good 1/4 inch deep. You can see they're just melted in. That's not factory. These wires got hot enough to where they started melting in that plastic over time, or that styrofoam. I've not taken it down beyond this yet. This is just the point where I stopped and said, alright, well, I'm going to look up online and see if anybody else has had this problem. And I'm going to post a link to saferproducts.org, which has one incident, and I read through it, and they discovered exactly what I found. Other than their ground fault circuit interrupter outlet tripped when theirs was shorting out. This was on a GCFI. It didn't trip. It just literally sat there and got warmer and warmer and warmer. And I hadn't taken it apart to see if there's any protective circuitry in there, but power supply is still good. Power supply hadn't done anything, but they describe it on this website. And then there was a comment from Prince Lionheart. This was on 9/12/2012, and they basically state that the safety of families using their products is paramount. Well, yeah, it should be. They take every concern seriously as a potential opportunity for improvement. We're relieved to know that the report about our wipes warmer doesn't refer to any damage or injury, which is consistent with the history of this item. Well, it may not be consistent, damage or injury, but older units may exhibit this problem. And then it continues on and says the examination of the unit in question showed no cracks or breaks in the tub that could explain the condition described in this report. No cracks or breaks in the tub. I'll agree with, mine does not either. They say that they can't explain the condition described in this report, meaning water in the bottom of this unit. Well, I'm going to describe it to you, since they couldn't figure it out. I'll tell you exactly how it was happening, in my opinion. It says the heating element and power connector of the wipes warmer are located in a separate compartment from the moist wipes to keep them dry, meaning the electronics dry. And it is. It's in a separate compartment. And it has been tested by an independent third-party laboratory who determined that the warmer meets or exceeds the applicable standards and requirements. They consider the 902, or we consider the 9002 wipes warmer to be a thoroughly safe product. Well, they talk about an independent third-party laboratory. They don't specifically state United Laboratories, or UL. I'm assuming that's who they refer to. But the unit itself does not have any UL markings on it. No UL listing markings. The power supply is UL listed, but it doesn't say anything about it here. So I don't know if they are buying third-party power supplies that were already tested from United Laboratories, or if their unit was done by another third-party source. But there's a problem here that people need to be aware of and look at and test their units. Now, to test yours to see if it exhibits the same type of problem, the first thing you do is simply try to take the power connector out of the back. If it comes out easy enough, that's step one. If you can't get it out, more than likely you have this problem. Secondly, clean it out from the inside, unhook the power, shake it, roll it around, see if you can hear water sloshing around. Mine probably had about, I don't know, a third of a cup of water in it. And this right here, it was sitting right in that water. Now let me go into the base just real quick. You can see the concentration of rust right here. This big area right here. That's where the power connector sits. And that happens to be, there's a recessed hole in here, a square hole. That happens to be the lowest point in this base. So any water that gets in here is going to migrate down into that particular area. Okay? Just wanted to show that, and you can see it. It's there. And it was all the way mainly concentrated in this area. You can kind of see the residue. I can kind of wipe it off. A little bit back over here and up into both these corners. Now let me show you my opinion on why this thing was doing that. It may be difficult to see, but there are two lids. There's one you can just lift up and you can pull wipes out if you want, and you close it. There's a secondary lid that gets down into the basin here. On this particular compartment, there's a rubber gasket that runs all the way around here. And when you close it down, there's a lip way back here that runs all the way around to this, all the way around the outside. This protrudes down into it when it's closed, but there's a gap right here. I don't know if it shows up. There's a gap right there. So when you close this down, it's possible that condensation is coming down this gap and it is getting below right here. And when you close it, it's dropping that condensation, or water at that point if it's been open, dropping it down into where the hinge holes are, right over here in the corner. I hope this all shows up. Right down in there, there's a hole. That hole is open all the way to the bottom, inside of the unit. So it's not totally isolated. Secondly, this particular lid right here, when you open it up, same situation, there's a rubber gasket around here. There's also holes back here. There's a little drip pan right here. If there's condensation on this, it would run down, and when you close this to seal it up, it would let the water go back onto this surface. There are two little drain holes in the back. Anything that gets on the outside of this right here or down in here, when you close it, same scenario. It runs down through the hinge hole into this compartment. There's the hinge hole. Traverses, and I can see where the water's been running between here and this edge, running right over to a hole and going right down into the unit. So that's how the water is getting in there. When it's steaming up, it's kind of evaporating that water, keeping your wipes moist. When the water gets out here, however it happens, and it condensates and it condenses, it's going to find its way down there. That's exactly what's happening here, even though they say they didn't find any problem with it. So I'm not going to go further off into this and tear it apart. I just wanted people to be aware that if they have one of these units, maybe not even this model, just any of them that they use for their children, I know they're quite popular. Check yours out. You know, I'm not trying to start a panic here, but you know, in the right conditions, even though this is only 12 volts, yeah, there could still potentially be a fire hazard here, I would think. You know, water and electricity do not mix in any fashion. And they are getting together in this unit, and they've done damage to it. So share this video out to people, share it out to your family members. You know, you may know somebody who has one or whatnot. Just have them check it, make sure it's safe. You know, I kind of felt compelled to put this up there. It's not a real bash at the unit, it's just a problem I had with mine. But I would hate not taking my time to do that and then seeing something on the news where somebody's home burnt down and somebody may have lost their life because of a situation like this. So I hope this helps you guys out. Like, again, I'm not trying to start panic, but I want people to look at theirs and make sure that they're safe. Thanks for watching, and good luck.